Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and now that the TVA has a hit on Ravonna Renslayer's location, we are left wondering where exactly she might be. Additionally, the news that she's working with Miss Minutes raises the question, why? What do these Kang number 2s need from each other? What are they planning to do that requires them to be hidden for the rest of the TVA? And what do either of them know about Ravonna's secret history with He Who Remains? This is the Sneak Peek, where we take the temperature of whatever we're watching while we head into the next episode or look ahead to the next week in nerdom. Joining me on this episode, formerly my Wookiee freak, now turned Marvel geek, Tommy Becto.
Oh, for those of us that are fans of both Renslayer and Miss Minutes, we're about to be eating good. Ooh. Erik, you know I've been a big supporter of Miss Minutes and her love affair with Cogsworth in the break room, but it sounds like Miss Minutes has a new partner, Ravonna Renslayer. Isn't that what I've been waiting for? My fan fiction come alive. But why? What is Miss Minutes helping Ravonna with exactly? Why? That's our new catchphrase for this. It's just asking why, kind of in a Miss Minutes voice. Why? Why? What is Ravonna and Miss Minutes' plan?
You know, it's. I think we're giving them a lot of credit by saying they even have a plan. I think they both only have half of a playbook. You know, it's clear that this season of Loki is mapping on City Slickers 2.
Yes.
The quest for Curly's gold, and that each of these partners have half of a map. Half.
Why?
Why? And then only by joining forces, by finding their mutual love for each other, will they be able to complete the map and figure out where to go next.
Yes.
I think. I think they clearly each had a relationship with the Kang variant. He Who Remains. He Who Remains is dead now.
Yes.
So we know based off of trailer footage that we're going to see the office of He Who Remains. We're going to go back there, but it's like in the process of crumbling based off of that one shot.
Right.
So I think the person who may go back there is one of these two characters, seeing what happened there, and like figuring out what their relationship was. But like, I think the answers to this question, Tommy, are all in that Citadel.
Yeah.
That's why it's, I think, so important to go back and watch season 1, episode 6 when we first visited the Citadel. There's a 4th broken timekeeper statue. There's a whole barricaded region of the Citadel that like no one can access.
Yeah.
That might have been like, the place that the love nest of He Remains and of Renslayer. I mean, maybe that was like a nursery they were building.
Oh, God.
Was Miss Minutes their baby? No, that'd be crazy.
Baby Minutes.
I think Miss Minutes might have destroyed that statue.
Yeah.
They'll make your nightmares come true. Hey, y'all.
Hey, why?
Wow. If you look closely at Miss Minutes' stockings, they're green and white striped. She's nanny.
Oh my God, you're right.
She was their nanny.
Oh my God.
She was the hand that rocks the cradle, Tommy.
Oh, the hand that rocks the cradle is the fist that rules the world. Don't forget that.
Yeah. No, I think like there was clearly like a love triangle going on here.
Oh no.
And I think Renslayer might have been the 4th statue. I think Miss Minutes might have smashed it.
Oh.
And then I think that now she feels spurned by He Remains, and I think the two of them are kind of like the ghosts of girlfriends past that are trying to carry out whatever He Remains' will and testament is.
Oh.
But we know based off of how many episodes we have left, we got to be going to Chicago, to the World's Fair. So I think part of his will and testament maybe is to like find all other like Kang variants who are still winnable or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Because he knows all the evil ones that are out there from the war, but maybe there's some who are pacifists who didn't join the war or didn't know about the war. So he's trying to like recruit some of them.
He definitely described a spectrum, right? Like he described there are like there are ones so evil you can't even imagine, but then there are also a couple little cutie pies that just they like to just doodle in their sketchbooks and be like, this is how I'll conquer. I'll conquer benevolently. I'll conquer via green energy.
I'll conquer just with my words.
Yes.
With Robert's Rules of Order.
Yes.
By just making a good case.
I'll conquer by creating Soylent, a food sustainability product that doesn't hurt our earth. That's what
tastes great when it's in key lime pie.
Ooh, key lime. Those candied limes in the key lime, I gotta tell you.
That was my favorite part of it, is they got some lime slices and then they, put them in a skillet with some boiling sugar, and candy them. That takes a lot of effort.
I gotta say, I know it takes all nutritional value out of it, but I will eat any candied fruit. You know, I like regular fruit too. I'm not one of those big guys that doesn't like fruits and vegetables. I love them. I just love them in bulk. But when you candy an orange, or you candy a lemon, or you candy a lime, then it's Tommy time. And I just
a candied lemon is one of the best. Like candied citrus, I think,
Eric,
is one of like the greatest of God's inventions.
Meet me in LA for some candied lemons next week, will you?
I'm telling you, like I keep bringing up my love of Great British Baking Show when we're talking about Loki, but we need to do a whole series that just reacts to episodes of the Bake Off.
I gotta say, like, Eric, of all of my friends in the world, you'd be in my top 3 to go to a candy shop with. I feel like you have that sense of wonder that going into like a person making homemade candies. I follow a candy account on TikTok of a guy. It's like an old guy and his daughter, and all they do is just make taffy and candy canes and candy ribbons all day. It just seems so fun, and I think it's in California. So let's rent a car. Tell your wife you're taking a few days off. Tell Kelly it's over.
I'm not telling her shit. No, she'll figure it out. I'll be back.
Just tell her you're going to see the candy factory with Tom.
I'm like Nelson in that episode of The Simpsons where I just go, I'm going out for a while. See.
All right, we should focus on Loki. But I just,
we should
I went
focus.
on a candy tangent.
Yeah. I imagine that World's Fair at Chicago is going to have some delicious sweet treats and candy.
And hopefully long form improv.
Just the origin.
You, sir.
Just
are you eating a hot dog? Yes, and it's delicious.
Just Charna Halpern as like an 8-year-old girl in 1893 Chicago.
Someday I'll devastate everyone here. Niche improv humor.
I think my favorite thing, Tommy, is how you still comment on Charna's posts on Facebook whenever she talks about stuff.
Yes.
Like you're right there.
Yes. Just let her know. I comment encouragingly, and people think that I'm serious. Sounds great, Charna. Excited for you, girl.
Wow, a lot of inside jokes here, but in terms of Ravonna and Miss Minutes' plan, I think they're trying to recruit a new army of successors for He Remains. Like, I think he said to Ravonna Renslayer, "Thank you for being on my team." I think we have now there used to be a whole bunch of different fronts in the Kang War. Now I think there's going to be a Kang Civil War. And I think we're going to see just everyone in the arena versus like any other person who Kang can siphon off to his side. And I think he's having Miss Minutes and Renslayer start on that path.
Interesting. All right, now at the end of the episode, we see Casey gets a hit on a location, but we don't know where other than it being labeled Q2 on the temp pad. The trailers mostly have her dressed in a World's Fair era costume from what we've seen, so maybe she's looking for that Kang variant, like you said, to get a little revenge, huh? I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe Ravonna's going to go in there and do a little stabby. She says, "He who remains," more like, "You will all be remains." Ha ha!
I love that idea. I mean, I think ultimately what's going to happen in this season, Tommy, is that like Miss Minutes is going to be the villain of this season. I think she's perfectly set up as a villain. Tara Strong is playing her part in that on Twitter. And I think we're going to see a battle, like just a hand-to-hand fight between Kiwi Kwan as Obi, the OG, the original He Who Remains, fighting a hologram Miss Minutes.
Yes!
Like that perfect Zemeckis, Who Framed Roger Rabbit battle between those two. I think that's what I want to see in the finale episode.
Count me in on that, baby. Count me in. Oh, that would be a riot. And Eric, speaking of riots, we got to get on over to the nerdriot.shop because I love wearing this Grogu shirt. I got to be honest, it's one of my favorite shirts we've ever made, but you're wearing something real special. You're wearing something from our brand new, latest and greatest new Rockstars gear featuring a merch inspired by that trickster Loki and his new gang of friends that we have now been able to capitalize on, right? Look at that. That's Mobius shirt. We've got Miss Minute shirts. We got them baseball style. I don't know who these new designers are, but gol dang. They got skills.
Georden.
They got skills, and the shirts are comfy. Now, this Grogu shirt will always be a nearest and dearest to me. Hell, I'm wearing it to Solvang as soon as this show is over to go get to a wedding. I'm not going to go to the wedding in this shirt, but I'm going to get to the hotel and check in with this shirt so the city of Solvang knows that I'm serious. And those of you that know
have fun in Solvang. You can get some sweet treats in Solvang. Get those, what are those called? The lingonberry pancakes?
Yes.
I can't remember what
Eric,
they're called.
I'm going to look for candied fruits for us in Solvang, and there's going to be a little surprise for you next time you're in the new Rockstars office. Back to the merch! Right now, check out our new line of Loki merch. It's so good. This is the best way to support the channel, you guys. You buy some shirts. Well, maybe it's not the best way. Maybe if you individually send us all checks, that would be. But this really does support the channel. We've got great merch options. They're super fun. They're really cool. They're not like aggressively pandering to just the direct studio designs. There's no mouse ears on these, baby. There's Grogu ears. And there's Mobius on a jet ski. Mobius selling pies. Miss Minutes, just such a babe, standing there in all of her beautiful orange glory. Good God, I got off track because I was thinking about Miss Minutes again. I just want to see how she ticks. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels as well, guys. All three on the new Rockstars network. The Hydra, if you will. The new Rockstars. The Deep Dive. And, of course, the Break Room, near and dear to my heart.
We got a big week coming up on the new Rockstars and the Break Room and the Deep Dive. We have a video coming out on Monday on the main channel that is about what is the difference between to be pruned or to die.
Yes.
Like pruning versus death.
Yes.
Over on the Deep Dive, I believe as of today, you can watch my deep dive into Jordan Peele's Get Out.
That's a good one.
My favorite movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like that. God, I can't believe that was so long ago. We're getting old.
It was so long ago. We also have an analysis on John Carpenter's The Thing on the Deep Dive that's in the pipeline. So keep an eye out for that.
The Thing is my go-to. I have never watched The Thing before. It's going to be one of my Halloween. Every year around Halloween, I'm not a big horror movie guy. I try to watch a couple classics. So Thing's on my list.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes.
It's a perfect film. We're gonna have a reaction to episode 3.
Yes.
And it's gonna be me with Mod and Tommy on Inside Marvel this week. So that will be fun.
West Coast.
And then our breakdown. Let's ghost! Our breakdown of episode 3. The Easter eggs will be on the main channel Thursday night. And then we're gonna be continuing to break down Gen V.
You know it.
From Amazon Prime Video.
Yes.
That's been a really, really good show.
So far.
Oh, one-shot energy, huh? I think I'll try it. Whoa! Oh, yeah. So what does one-shot's focus shoe do? So one shot really is all you need. Begin your transformation with one shot energy today by going to oneshotenergy.com/newrockstars for 10% off your order.
Now, Eric, you and Maud went in on this episode a little bit on Inside Marvel. And one of the complaints has been about the lack of emotional payoff in this episode. Sylvie's branch, it didn't even get pruned. Do you think these bombings will come back into play? I mean, that's a pretty dramatic thing to have in a show. So do you think they'll come back this season and maybe we'll actually feel the consequences of what Docs did, which is essentially, just wipe out the entire civilizations? And do you think there'll be future implications to that?
Yeah, I think I was way too hard on this episode. After watching it the first time, I think I was just so confused by the way it begins and just how fast the final battle happens that, I don't know. I think when I rewatched it, I liked it a lot more. So a lot of people are like going after me, like, why are you hating on it? But I think, Tommy, you and I discovered, like, if we don't criticize it enough, people yell at us. If we say anything negative about it, we have people scream at us.
If you say anything positive, you're a shill. Haters and shills, you know what? Call me a Slater. An AC Slater, because we're the coolest guys in school.
Can we just give... I just wanted to let everyone know, if you follow any media outlet or critic or any personality on Twitter or YouTube, and all they say about thing is one type of thing, and if even their reaction to one movie or episode of TV, and that's their reaction the moment they see it, and they stick with it, and their views never evolve, you're not watching an honest human being. Honest human beings can react to things, have feelings about it, and their opinions change. That's a normal way
Eric,
to react to things.
I have to say, I agree with you completely. My first viewing of this episode, I was like, first of all, I thought I was watching maybe an out of sequence episode, right? Like I thought I was like, wait, is this labeled wrong, or am I watching something? And then I was like, okay, no, these are the characters. This makes sense. But then I agree with you 100%. Or I agreed. First of all, I too have evolved into liking this episode much more upon a second view. The first view, though, I was like, wait, all of this doc stuff is happening so fast. Like, they figured it out. It was like within like a minute that they figured it out and stopped it. So, yeah, I guess I agree. And I think, like, one of the things that we do try to do here, especially at New Rockstars and on the break room and on the deep dive, is like, we try to be emotionally honest. So in the moment, if something rubs us the wrong way, we're going to say it. But we also try to be like intellectually decent. So upon looking at it a second time or a third time, if we see something differently, which is how the human experience of life, art, science, everything is, then we can go back and say that. And that doesn't mean the first thing we said was invalid. It just means that something in our experience with it has changed, and rather than just lie and keep a company line or keep a talking point, we're going to change it up. That doesn't make anyone a shill. It doesn't make anyone dishonest. It just makes them real. So, I think I will always...
I think we're just finding that like everything, when the discourse lives on social media, it's not an honest human conversation, and people are not actually talking with each other. They're talking over and past each other.
And as we find very often in real life, Eric, people who take in our content, many of the people online who comment on it are very nice and decent people, but a lot of the people who never have made a single comment on a New Rockstars video, when you meet them in person, can speak passionately about the channel and validate our work. So, I don't want to get too stuck on this. I don't want to be too stuck in time. I want to talk about time slipping now. We didn't see any time slipping in this episode, but we know because of trailer footage that there's more to come. So here's my question. What is it exactly that's causing Loki to time slip, and why isn't anyone else experiencing this?
Okay, yeah, so two things. Let's talk about time slipping first. And I do want to talk about, like, will the bombings have implications?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I jumped ahead.
I know, but I do think... Yeah, I think time slipping was specific to Loki, and I think it's just because he, as a variant of Sylvie, and as I think Lokis are basically the anomalistic flaw to the matrix of the TVA. Not every variant is like that, but there's a reason why he remains recruited. Sylvie, and by recruited I mean he like hunted and kidnapped her. And why part of the plan was to link up L1130 Loki with L1190 Sylvie, because they represent an anomalistic flaw in that logic, the system, the matrix of the TVA. So when he gets kicked out of the Citadel in season 1, episode 6, the finale episode, he just kind of instinctively time slips because his like temporal aura is linked with these kind of doomsday events where the time loom is broken. So that's what's happening right now when Sylvie, is destined to stab, he remains, that his body already starts to go into that process. And until, measures can be made to where he can kind of link back with Mobius there, that's the only thing that can subdue it. But we know from trailer footage that he will be time slipping again. Mm-hmm. Like at some point in this season, he's going to time slip in and out of the parking lot. Like, this is going to be something that he goes back to. So he's destined to circle back to it. But I think it's specific to being a Loki as opposed to any variant.
Yeah.
But to answer the question of the sacred timeline bombings, I think the consequences will be, like, all these timelines have been bombed. I think the Alioth is going to be overstuffed with food to eat. And I think it's going to overrun the void with too many trillions or at least billions of people. And it might just overwhelm. Like, imagine the temporal loom being overwhelmed with timelines. I think Alioth is going to be overwhelmed with food sources to consume. So I think it's going to further make things worse just from the other end of where
they can't
of this
even
digestive
hide in the
tract.
void anymore then if they, there's like, wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I think there will be implications. I don't think we're going to see that stuff, but I do think like Alioth is just going to break in the way that
I really am. I find that character or monster or whatever, guard dog, Alioth, so interesting. I thought the taming of Alioth at the end of episode 5, season 1 was such a weird, powerful moment. The revelation of the Citadel behind him, or it, or whatever. I don't know what Alioth is. Is it a tiger? Is it a cave of wonders? I think it's a cave of wonders.
I think it's a Mufasa.
Yes.
A bit of a Mufasa, a bit of a lost smoke monster.
Yeah. And regardless, I'm curious. I need more Alioth. I need more Alioth in my life. So
Yeah.
now you were you had mentioned some Mobius things in a video, so I want to hear more on that.
You can check out a video that came out on the channel on Saturday. Mobius has been kind of like cagey when it comes to his past life, but the most recent episode, it seems like he might have some connection to the McDonald's with his line about wanting one of their pies, and he might have some kind of history. My theory has been that Jack, the McDonald's employee, might be Mobius at a younger age. So when we met Jack, do you think that was young Owen Wilson, young Mobius?
You know, I saw your tweet about this morning, and I gasped audibly because I was like, "Wow, yes, that would make so much sense." My question is though, so here's my thought. If it's not, I think there's something there. Also, the pies back then at McDonald's were deep fried and they were delicious, and now they bake them to make them healthier and they put less apple in them. So I don't blame Owen Wilson for wanting to go back to the 80s to eat those delicious pies. But when Mobius is questioned about his life on the timeline, he seems so hyper resistant to deal with it, right? Almost like the way a person who has experienced trauma or grief that they instead of processing it, they block it or they bottle it. I'm wondering if Jack is his son. I'm wondering if Jack is his brother or somebody important to him. You know, like I don't know if Mobius is supposed to be Owen Wilson's age, like you were saying in your tweet, but I do think there's a chance that it's like could be a family member and or you know or like I guess the only thing that bumps me is he knew that McDonald's. So was he the character I keep on the character of Owen Wilson, is Mobius so able to suppress things that he didn't even have a real reaction there? The only way he could kind of process being there was just to eat a succulent McDonald's meal? A meal?
That's a good question. It's a good question. I think it's possible that Mobius does not remember his past.
He also, he could have been wiped so many times that he just, But that's so interesting. I think
he sees his own self and he's like, well, he doesn't have my nose, and then forgets that like he busts his nose at some point.
He had about He Who Remains at one point, and that's why Renslayer's nice to him, because it's like he stood up for her to He Who Remains or something. I don't know. We should. It would be great if they did a explanation for Owen Wilson's nose via plot point in Loki. That would be amazing.
I mean, that's what I was saying in the video, that it could be like a River Phoenix Last Crusade thing, how they had him cut himself on the chin to justify why Harrison Ford has the cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I think ultimately we know for sure that Mobius does remember the historical period of the early 90s. Yes. And I can't remember when they stopped deep frying the apple pies.
It's more recent.
Was that early 90s?
It's more recent. I think it's a 2000s thing. But I do think, Eric, your Mobius being Jack is more satisfying than Jack being like Mobius's son or kid brother or something like that. I mean, what a great, what a powerful one-to-one moment that like Sylvie has a weird affinity for the character of Jack. You know, it's like, I don't know. I like it. I
just think like the character I thought was a one and done, but when he came back in episode 2, I was like, the way that episode ended, there's something with this kid.
And the fact that they didn't prune the timeline, right? That timeline.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, Eric. I like it a lot.
Well, let us know in the comments below, but before we go on, let's just do another little heat check. Yeah. We're in the heat check phase. We're between episode 2 and episode 3. So I gotta say, initially after episode 2, when I first watched it, feeling like it was like a step down, but after rewatching it, I was like, okay, you know what? No, this has still been a solid season, and knowing that we're headed to 1893 Chicago, I'm really excited for episode 3. I think despite what like has been printed in the Hollywood Reporter, the worries people have about the Marvels, I think honestly Loki is like single-handedly saving Marvel's brand right now. This has been such a good season.
Yeah. I don't think it will impact, because I think that the promos for Loki, in a thing that normally bothers me, have masterfully shown us a lot, but without showing us too much. We still have footage left from the trailers that we have not seen yet, from the previews, from the TV spots, and all of those are intriguing. There's not a lot of just like what you would call, filler scenes from trailers. It's like, we want to see him in front of that Rocksmart, right? We want to see him in front of that jet ski store. We want to see Victor Timely. We want to see all of these things. We want to see Miss Minutes, goddammit. If for nothing else, we want to see that big, beautiful orange clock face and those smooth minute hands just caressing her face. And I wish those hands were my hands. So no, it won't impact the rest of the season.
I think I'm super pumped for the next 4 episodes, and I'm super excited. So we'll leave it there for this episode of The Sneak Peek. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, this show, The Sneak Peek, we're gonna have you're gonna see a lot of fun faces pop up on this every week.
I love
it. Yeah, Tommy, this has been awesome chatting with
Eric, as you can tell by the 15 minutes of unairable footage that we shot for this episode, we enjoy talking to each other. It's my absolute pleasure. I love hanging with you every week, buddy.
Release the Costa cut.
Yeah,
I want to see the whole thing.
Put the Costa cut out there. Come on, Costa, you coward. No, just kidding. Shout out Dashiell and John Costa for all the technical work they put into these shows every week. We love you guys. Thanks so much.
We love you guys. And we love you, Tommy. Follow Tommy on all social media at Tommy Bechtold. You can follow me at EA Voss. Subscribe to all 3 channels in the Rockstars Network. Support us by grabbing something from nerdriot.shop. And we'll see you next week after episode 3 comes out. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Bye.